Hello, everybody, and welcome to Web3 Weekly. Happy Thursday to all of you out there. So I am beyond excited this evening to speak with one of our very close collab partners. It's going to be a super exciting episode. So before we start and get into this and learn a little bit and check out the estates, we will go through the boring stuff, which is like and subscribe below if you want to get notified for all of the founders that we interview here, the market analysis that we go over, and the training videos that Nate comes on and does for us. If you want ping for those, definitely like and subscribe down below. You will have a link to my personal socials and the Alpha Mutants Discord. We are coming up on Mint on the 18th. So if you're not in there and you're not being part of the party, then definitely check that out. So enough of that nonsense. So everyone, I would like to introduce you to my personal friend and a very close collab partner of Alpha Mutants. We've worked very closely together in our projects and love his community, love him personally as a founder, super solid guy in the space. And I mean, I just don't have enough good things to say about him. Recently launched the first iteration of their collection that sold out and is currently trading on OpenSea. We'll drop a link down below to check out the estates on OpenSea, so you guys can go pick one of those up. I would highly recommend that if you do not have not picked up one of their collection yet, that you do it post taste. Their floor has rocketed in the last couple days. I think it's like 3x in the last couple days. So you might want to get a hold of one of those before they get too far up there. But they have some great technology moving forward and some really cool stuff. They're getting ready to move into phase 2, which we're going to talk to Jaden about tonight. But I'm super excited. I'm talking about him. I'll let him introduce himself and the project, and we'll move on from there. So Jaden, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us tonight. And tell us a little bit about yourself and about the project.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Crypto Kenny. So I'm Jaden, or my online moniker is Notanotherartist. I'm an engineer based out of Adelaide, Australia. Fully doxed. The estates, we have a now 35-person team, all fully doxed internally, and then the vast majority of us are also fully doxed externally. My background in Web3 started really back in that at the time actually grew to be the second biggest Bitcoin exchange in the world. So nice. I was in uni though, first year uni, had no money, so got paid in dollars instead of Bitcoin, which was an interesting decision.
Yeah.
So all my mates are now worth like hundreds of millions of dollars, and I made like 10 grand, which was, for a uni student, was a lot of beer money. So that was my first real taste into this world, and kept a keen eye on this space for the last 10 years. And then last year, during all the COVID lockdowns and things like that, really started exploring Web3 again, and actually came into the space as a bit of a one-of-one artist. So that's how the Not an Artist moniker came together. Because I'm an engineer, like I'm technically not really an artist, but gave it a crack. And then after kind of pursuing that for a little while, I started collecting, and my first ever NFT purchase was a 3D NFT called H3D. And I was super excited. Their launch party was really fun. It was in Decentraland, and I remember being in that space and being like, oh, this is kind of cool. There's like a DJ, there's all these avatars. I was looking around and I was like, what's up with this building? It's like this weird warehousey 4 walls and a roof situation. And I was like, that's not ideal, obviously. And from there, I do have a bit of an interest in architecture, started looking into it and found that there was no real architecturally designed buildings available for purchase as an NFT. And the ones that, were generally based in, sandbox type environments or things like that, and they were closed loop. So to interact with them, you had to go to their metaverse as opposed to being able to use them anywhere. So it was pretty clear that there was an opportunity here. And one of my best friends from high school just happens to be one of Australia's top upcoming architects. He's now one of Sweden's top upcoming architects because he just moved there less than a week ago. So we started talking about developing these houses for celebrities, for the Snoop Dogs and for the Gary Vees and those types of guys. And then during this development cycle, we kind of transitioned that and we're like, well, why don't we just make this for everyone? Make it a collection, price it somewhat reasonably, and actually make something that people can utilize and try to really establish ourselves as that first, architecturally designed boutique house NFT in the metaverse. And that's exactly what we did. So that the development started in December last year, and we started building a full team in January, and that team grew and grew and grew. We found this incredible architecture firm based out of Cairo, Egypt, called Gizar, and they came on and they're responsible for a lot of the asset development and script development. And then the team just kept growing, and that led us to our mint just over a week ago, which was insane. We now have this incredible piece of tech that allows us to make any number of iterations of these houses that we want, like into the numbers with 23 digits if we so choose, in terms of asset variations. Like the amount of variation we have in these collections is just unbelievable. And the estates now, we have four different themes, as you said so rightly before. We've just done our phase 1 rollout, which was China. We have our phase 2 rollout, which is one that's coming up this weekend, which is really exciting. Everyone's very hyped up for that one because they look incredible. And then we have 2 more themes that are fully developed. Actually, we're just going through the rendering process for our 4th unrevealed theme at the moment, which is really exciting. And I think when people see that, they're gonna freaking lose it because it's come together so beautifully. So it's good.
Yeah, I have to say that you stated that you hadn't seen other companies like build these interchangeable houses in the metaverse, and that's what really drew me to you guys, was the ability to migrate these things to multiple digital universes, as apart from, well, I have an estate, but it's only in Decentraland, right? Or I have it only in the sandbox, or whatever it was, right? So that aspect, being able to move your house in just like we can hop worlds in Web3, it just makes sense that we should be able to move our assets cross chain and cross platform. So that was what really drew me to you guys initially. And then, I think it's, I don't know what your next iterations are, but I don't know how you can improve upon the modern theme. That's personally my favorite type of architecture. So I'm super excited about the modern theme, because if I was going to build myself a house in the metaverse, that would be, the concept I would use. So that's fantastic. And what you guys have accomplished, even in such a, because your guys' mint was really in the bottom of the bear, man. Like we were scratching the bottom of everything. So to have any type of successful mint in the bottom of a bear market like that there has to be a level of kudos sent out to you and your entire team, because it's a feat. Me as a founder myself, I definitely understand that better than most. So let's talk a little bit about a few things and get some more details here. So I mean, you kind of touched on how the idea of the estates came to be, just in your intro there. But so let's talk about how like you and the like yourself and the original team came together, and how you pitched that, and what was your first movements in creating this fantastic project?
Yeah, so it first came together basically. So it first came together, effectively it was, started out with me in NFTs, and then through talking with my friend, we started looking into this project, and then I was actually part of another project that ended up being rugged by the founders, which is really sad. So that was called the Chubby Kaiju DAO, and it was a fantastic project. Like everything was so good about it. The community was good. There was really, really active, really engaging. But the thing that really made it fantastic were the people. So what ended up happening was there was a number of guys that I met through that who I really, really trusted, and I asked them about my idea, and I was like, "What do you guys think?" And they were like, "I think it sounds really cool." And then a couple of weeks later, they came back to me like, "You know what? We think it's really cool. We'd love to get involved." And I was like, "Yeah, man, these are the people, I'd love to work and I said this one, I was like, you're the types of people that I'd love to work with more than anyone. So that's how, those two guys were OX Tuna and Jerusalem, who ended up becoming the collab manager and the Discord manager for the Estates. And then through them, they actually formed a group that they approached me with, and that was, they're called the Blanket Group, and they are like a full service kind of situation where they do, your marketing, they do a lot of like Twitter graphics, managing the Discord, all that kind of stuff. So that was an easy in for me, because I was like, I know these guys already. They've got a good track record. They're trustworthy, fully doxed. I even have the address of one of them, because we used to send each other bags of chips at the start of the year, because like I love Canadian chips. I'm half Canadian, and my wife's Canadian, and then he loves Australian chips. So I knew these were real people, which in this space was really important, because at this last project we were all on together, there was no doxing, and that was part of the how they were rugged. So we all had a mutual understanding. So that was the first kind of core group, and then from there we had to find an architecture firm that was, we actually needed two things. We needed someone who was capable of generating a script that would allow us to basically input assets and then combine them in a certain way and then output, a house, which is really, really hard to do. Yeah. So I was looking for that. And then also we were looking for, an architecture firm that could help us with asset development and some, designers for that. And I spent a very long time, so a couple of months actually looking for these guys, starting way back in, I'd say early December. And I just stumbled on them. It was like one of those just beautiful moments. Yeah. And they're literally, like, they're based out of Egypt. We were looking everywhere, and it just so happened that they are the only firm, and I'd say this was a level of confidence, that they're the only architecture firm that also uses this like randomized programmatic script called Grasshopper. And look, if there's another firm out there, I couldn't find it in over the course of several months, like looking every day. And yeah, they were super keen to get on board. At first, when I started pitching the ideas to them, they're like, okay, that's impossible. And I was like, hold on, hear me out. Like, let's give this a crack. And fortunately, they're, a great group of guys and, men and women based over there, and also in Istanbul, Turkey. And they're willing to give it a crack. And that's why it took us, the first theme took us 6 months to make. It was so hard. And the scripts that we developed for each theme, the level of complexity is beyond anything I've ever seen before. But yeah, the first theme took us 6 months to complete. And then from there, it was about 6 weeks to do each of the following themes. So, we've gotten so much better at this. And we now know, like, our quality's gone up and everything like that as well. And they're just wonderful. Like, they are so freaking talented, these guys. And so that's how they came about. And then in terms of the other aspects of the team, so we're really lucky in terms of our moderation team, because we had some really great mods that we knew already. And then, through the natural kind of process of running a project, we now have 5 paid mods, and I've got to say, they are just a dream to work with. They are wonderful people, very dedicated, committed. The rest of the team, so we also have a marketing specialist that we brought on post phase 1 mint to really help bring us to the next level. His name is Mashed Potato, and he has a good background through the Chameleon Collective and other projects, and just brings like a wealth of experience in how to build out a project and really make sure that mints are successful and things like that. And we've seen like a really nice uptick in our marketing and engagement, things like that, since we engaged him. So that was a really good move for us. And then we also have a really good mentorship group. So some of these people are public, some of them are privately mentoring us, and effectively these are well-established people in the NFT space who are either founders or working on the project. I know that I've reached out to the Alpha Mutants. You guys have been amazing, helping with technical stuff on several occasions. So I'm a big advocate for mentorship in any industry in life, in any form. And the level of knowledge, advice, and just like things like being able to reach out to Halal, the guy from Antebellum, and asking him about his tokenomic system, for instance. Incredible. And his AMA structure. And then being able to talk to guys like Hydres, who's just like a freaking wizard when it comes to, how to actually keep a community going and that kind of stuff. And then all these other guys. And then probably the last people that really were super impactful was we were lucky to have Dogberto, Mr. Dogberto, I believe he's on Instagram. He is the founder of PX Quest. And also I do know him very well IRL, fortunately. And he did contracts and was just like the most insane contracts that I've seen deployed. Our mints, we did 2 mints. There you go.
Like shout him out. He has been fantastic. He was helping us. Obviously,
Yeah.
He helped us to do a secondary audit on our contract, and actually, we had a full audit, but we wanted to get a couple pairs of eyes on it. And even though we had a professional audit done, he still found 2 or 3 things to minimize gas even further in our contract after a professional audit. So fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously knows exactly what he's doing in the space. He's
Yeah.
great to work with.
Yeah, he's amazing. Also, I think your mic is rugging a tiny bit.
There he goes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, so look, he's a hyper genius. I've worked with him professionally outside of NFTs as well. And he's just one of those guys that he truly is just next level smart. And, this is his world. And yeah, so the contract he put together, we could do straight from minting into the staking contract, worked perfectly, super gas efficient. The minting process, there wasn't any issues on midday, which, was fantastic. I minted 2 for $1.70 in gas, which is like, what? It was ridiculous. So yeah, we're just super lucky. And then our front end dev is a guy called 1337. He's freaking amazing as well. He did a really good job on our minting website. We had a website built for us by a guy called No Code, and the website looks fantastic as well. I feel very lucky because realistically the team is what made this amazing. And sorry, we did also have a professional audit done by Field on Bacon. They were fantastic. Look, those guys, I can't recommend them highly enough. They are very, very capable and also like just all big brains, there's a guy there called oh, hold on, I'm having a brain moment. I know his IRL name. Anyway, I won't say his IRL name, but he helped develop our visualizer, and it is so crazy how good it looks. It's just I can't believe how amazing it is. So when you go onto OpenSea, you can actually see our visualizer. And so whenever you click on one of our NFTs, instead of just bringing up an image, it brings up a 3D representation of the NFT in Unity. And he helped us develop that. And I asked him to make a 3D representation on a color background with hard shadowed. And what he made was a full landscape. There's like 30 different weather patterns with like birds and thunderstorms and that kind of stuff. You can change the time of day. It's just like they just went so far above and beyond. Oh, and his name's Enigma Factory, by the way. Sorry, I did. And and just like super talented. So yeah, and I mean, I've been very lucky with this team. They came together through, like I said, having good mentors and knowing the right people. And yeah, and that's how I think we were able to achieve something that realistically hasn't been done before. Like we've done a number of things that haven't been done before in the NFT space. And that's, I can't take full credit for that because like the team were exceptional at every level. So
yeah, and
yeah.
It takes the team, right? And I have to say, I was actually on. What I was going to say was that I was on your OpenSea page, and man, I have never seen a more interactive, just beautifully put together graphically that you can interact and like change the weather themes and just like move about and like look at these things. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, just super fantastic technology. I love it. I think it's fantastic, and I I personally don't get excited about a lot of stuff in the space, but your guys' project has just really excited me, and I mean, like I'm super excited for the next phase of your guys' mint. I think it's going to be wild. I think it's going to make the first phase look like nothing, right? And it was pretty wild your guys' first phase, so
Yeah.
it's going to be super excited. I can't wait to be in your Discord during that day and see what goes on with it. But so I mean, that's something that we could talk about. I mean, like we've talked a lot is just the innovation that you guys are bringing, because there's really nothing comparable. And I'm out there with hundreds of different projects, and I've seen a couple doing slightly similar things, but not. I mean, you guys are miles ahead of any of the competition at this point, and I think that's fantastic. I think you guys will have a large market share in this market before anybody catches up, because of just the time you guys took to plan properly and then to execute it on a good level, a concise level. Kudos for you for that, because I think you made the right choice doing it that way. But one of the other things I wanted to talk about is because I know that mint was wild for you, the initial mint, and it was a crazy day. I know you
Yeah.
messaged me through the day, and it was like, oh, like I had a message, and my team was on there, and it was just like, I think you guys sold out. You guys minted out in, like, I don't know, it was like literally like seconds, wasn't it? Like 30 seconds or something. Crazy stuff. Walk us through I mean, not just the project, but your emotional state during that. Like, what was it like to see that happen, and then what did you feel like afterwards? Like, what was the emotion during and after?
Yeah, so mint day was definitely one of the craziest days I've had in the space. And so this was just phase one mint. Part of the thing that you don't know leading into a mint day, for anyone out there that's a founder or thinking about starting a project, is you can do everything right. We had all our marketing going, we had an oversubscribed pre-sale list and all of that, and lots of hype, good positivity, really good sneak peeks, all that. And then you just don't know what's going to happen on mint day. So we had 15 different scenarios laid out for every different kind of permutation that we could. 12 different scenarios for every different permutation that we could think of. And we started with scenario one, which was we started with the paid mint. And then we tested that, and we had like 100 sell in under a minute, and then it just stopped. And we're like, what happened? What's going on? And so we let that ride for a bit, and then we went to scenario 9, and that was we dropped the mint price, continued on like that, and it was pretty clear that it was going to be a stationary mint. And so we're like, okay, we have two options now. We can either go to like the Genesis style, or we can go to a free mint. And a big thing that we knew was that something about our project that is, it's different. It's not something that people are familiar with. And so that concept of people wrapping their heads around it in pre-mint and saying like, hey, you can actually upload this into all these different spaces and things like that. I think people heard that, but they didn't really kind of maybe get it as a whole. And so we're like, okay, well, we have 4 themes. Let's get the first theme out there and try to get it out into people's hands and let them actually start engaging with the product and see the quality that we put in. And we changed it to a free mint. It went in an hour and 15 minutes. We sold 50% to our pre-sale list. And then we went public, and public sold out in less than 10 seconds. It was absolutely insane. And before we went public, we were trending #1. Hey everybody, we were trending #1 on IC Tools. We stayed #1 on IC Tools for 2 days, which was just incredible. And yeah, it worked basically. So I know that we weren't the only mint on that day. In fact, there was at least a few dozen. We went #1, which was crazy.
It was a big mint day for that. And I think for sure, I think it was the right decision the way you guys pivoted, because I mean, it was a bad macro day to begin with. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that, I don't think people fully understood, because the space right now at the level we're at, people understand these JPEGs and PFPs and, that type of thing. But the level of technology that you guys have and innovation, sometimes it's hard for those things to break into the market, right? Because they're such a higher level than a picture of a frog, right? You know what I mean? It's so much more. and you know, but I do think that now that you guys are out here and you're getting that message out there and people are seeing these things like on OpenSea, they can go look at them. I mean, it makes so much more sense now. And so I think that the momentum you guys are building now is going to carry over. And I think each of your guys' iterations are just going to be better than the last one, based off of what's going on with you guys now. So I know that, that I think I was on the Spaces with you shortly after the mint. I believe we were on an ATS Spaces or something together, and you could hear the level of emotion, you know, in your voice that, you know, man, this has just been a journey, and like it was wild and crazy. And you know, I find that, like, if you're not a founder of a project, you're not heavily involved in a project, I don't think anybody else can understand the amount that you pour into something like that. And then I can just imagine the state of, you know, just ecstasy and relief. I mean, after it was done, you're like, now we can actually move forward and we can build something. And so I was so happy for you, man. I just, yeah, overjoyed that you guys did so well.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's a whole part of it, is like, you know, that's the thing that I think a lot of community members maybe don't see. You know, like I started developing this project 9 months ago. I quit my job 6 months ago. You know, so we poured all of our life savings. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, we just got a delivery. That's great. So yeah, so poured all of our life savings for that my wife and I put aside to get a house. Then we also did take out a personal loan, and so, you know, financially heavily invested. You know, fortunately, I have a wonderful partner who's able to support me. You know, she's still working, and that's how we managed to keep the lights on. But it's a really big commitment to do this, you know, working, and this is not an exaggeration, you know, 15, 16 hour days every day, Saturday, Sunday as well, for the last, I'd say 8 months. So since January, and it's just like, it's a really big grind. It's hard. It's kind of thankless as well. You know, the community pre-mint, their interest in the project it seems to be a lot more about, like, you know, can I make money out of this? Can I flip it for a profit? Like that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you can. Or hold on, hear me out. You can have a literal house that integrates with any metaverse. You know, we're going to be spending all our time in the metaverse. It's actually got this incredible utility. You can make it your home, you can make it your studio, like all these kinds of things. And now that we've put it out there, people are starting to get that. And we know we were too early. Like, we know. Like, and that's actually okay. So effectively, the metaverses that we're most excited to, this is another guy, this is Pablo, everyone, say hello.
Yeah, got pets and dating today.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. Whenever I do anything like this and he starts hearing me talking, I think he's like, oh, it's like time to hang out. Yeah, so effectively, we know we were early to the piece, and that the metaverses that we're most excited for integrating with are in the processes of, you know, late stage development, you know, moving towards launch. So these are the metaverses like, you know, Cornerstone, The Other Side by Yuga Labs. We have Frogland, and they've just done their launch as well. And then we have things like Superdome. So these are 4 projects that we are currently partnered with. And that's really important for us, that we have, you know, 4, Other Side we're not officially partnered with, but we like to say that, you know, we're definitely keeping them at the forefront of our mind as well, because we know that they're going to be huge, and we know that we can integrate with them, because, like, we've looked at their tech, we've looked at our tech, and it just makes sense. So you know, being partnered with metaverses and having specific metaverses that we are developing alongside is incredibly important, because our product is, we took a different approach, which was, we looked at some of these projects that had released some housing or like a apartment building or something like that, and they built their own metaverse. And that's, look, no shade to them, that's fantastic. But we were more looking to bet, not that we could develop a metaverse that would compete with, you know, Other Side, Cornerstone, Horizon World by Facebook, like all these kinds of things. We want to bet on the metaverse as a whole, because if you look at the current market cap, it's sitting at about 30 to 40 billion, depending on, you know, which report you read, by end of this year. But then all of the reports that I've managed to find have said that by 2030, Metaverse valuations will be at around the 630 to 670 billion US. That's the lower end of the scale. But then on the other end, they're looking at $5 trillion to $8 trillion in spending and market through Metaverse. So, you know, that's where I know that the estates, whether we're successful today, next month, a year, or whatever down the line, we are at least an 8-year project in terms of our current roadmap. And we know that we've already established ourselves as the first Metaverse boutique architecturally designed house project. We know that, like you said, we are much further ahead of the curve. As these metaverses are releasing, we can restructure our file formats and the quality of our estates to integrate perfectly with the kind of upper limits of the graphical limitations of these metaverses, as well as we can actually release whole new collections for any metaverse or project that we choose to partner with. That is, you know, in their style, you know, in their, for instance, Superdome is based on Mars, so we can make Mars boards if they want. Cornerstone, it's, you know, Nordic. They're based out of Finland, and so we could make something like that's where that kind of like almost like when I looked at that, I straight away saw the Dune world that they were based on, that water world at the start, and we could make houses in that vein, and as well as that, our current themes, they integrate everywhere as well. So it's really cool to be ahead of the wave, and you know, we know that basically we're already getting great recognition. Just over the last weekend, we had, I think we counted something like 25 different apes post about us talking about other side integration. So we're getting that recognition now. We have established actual whales in our project, which is, you know, great sign. There's one guy who bought and staked 37, just like bam, yeah, complete faith in the project. And we're like, that's insane. That's so great. And so yeah, we know we've got the long-term mentality. You know, we've got a team that's sticking around. They're not here for a quick payday. They're here to, you know, to basically have this be our jobs. And we've built this as a business. We are in the process of being licensed here in Australia, so we're just waiting for that, you know, the documentation to come through. But yeah, we're treating this as a company, and we have a very much a long-term vision. And I think the people that are getting in now are the ones that are going to just absolutely reap the benefits of this the most over the course of time, because the way that we've structured this whole project is around really looking after, you know, the people that came in early, and making sure that over time, you know, we keep updating what they have so that it always integrates, it's always relevant, yeah, it's always at that top level of the technology. So yeah.
Well, and I also think that it's very interesting that, you know, that, I mean, because as much as people don't like to see the correlation between in real life assets in business and then digital assets in business, there is a definite correlation, right? And I think the idea of, you know, you don't purchase a house in the, I mean, there's a small faction that do, but you know, normally when you're looking at real estate in real life, you purchase that as a long-term investment, right? I mean, that's something you're planning on holding on to for 10, 20, 30 years. And and there is no difference in metaverse. You know, in my mind, it's like with you guys, I mean, if you have these exclusive collections of these different, you know, houses that come out, you know, every so often you get done. I mean, I can see people making entire businesses off of, you know, investing in these things early, you know, renting them over time, you know, doing these different, and I mean, there's just a world of investment opportunity. There's a world of opportunity of use case. So I think it's, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. And I love the direction where you're going. So on that note, let's talk about, and we can do right after we do this, we can get, if you want to do show us some, like, you know, some graphics and maybe walk us through a few things, that'd be awesome. But so let's talk about the future. Let's talk about your guys' next mint iteration that's coming up out of the 4 that you guys got going on. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the modern houses. When is that? You know, what are we looking at collection size? You know, give us any information that you can safely give us at this point in time, and let's tell the people about what you guys got coming up.
Yeah, of course. So our upcoming rollout is phase 2, which is modernist. So I think Modernist, for a lot of people, is their favorite in the collection. It's the most popular housing theme in the world for the last, I think several decades, realistically. Like you look at what's being built, and effectively when we started this project, I really wanted to start with the Japanese thing because I love that kind of architecture. I've got a Japanese family, been to Japan several times, as has the head architect, TF Pace. And we actually traveled there together years ago. So we were both like, yes, let's do that. So that's what we started with. But then, immediately it was very apparent that Modernist would be in the collection. It's just such a great theme. There's so much you can do with it. So this theme is exceptionally diverse in many ways. So we actually have 53 different color combinations for just the external walls between the first and second floor. There's 10 base colors, everything from white, concrete, yellow, blues. I'm not the architect, so you can tell, like, I'm just using like basic language, but like, there's coral, there's all this. And so we've got, different combinations, and that's just on the external wall colors. From there, we have things like pools. There's, flamingo floaty toys that go in the pool, stuff like that. There's this theme, the idea is that it's in your neighborhood, and there was a feeling of like, someone's just been at home and just left. So there's like, sometimes there's a discarded bike in the yard, or like a basketball hoop that's set up, things like that. And there's actually 1.5 sextillion, I think is the right number, different number of asset combinations. So that's times by 10 to the power of 23. It's the most unbelievable amount of diversity on this one. So you're not going to see, many that are at all. It is a collection, so there is similarity, obviously, between the different ones with the floor plans and stuff like that, but there's also an incredible amount of variation. So I just love this one. Like, I really love this theme. It's, for a lot of people, they're very excited for it. The really cool thing, though, about what we found with this project is that although, there are a lot of people that love Modernists, there's also a lot of people who are still really hyped for Japan. That's coming out, later this year. And then our fourth theme as well, which is unreleased, but that's my personal favorite. So that's the whole point here, is that we have different, it's your house, so you should be able to get what you want. So we have different themes to suit different people, and what your needs are and what your desires are. So an interesting thing, I think, about the estates is that, obviously we have a floor, but at the end of the day, like, this is your house. So if there's one that you like on the floor, that's great. It's, the rarity is important, of course, but at the same time, like, find one that you love and then work with it, decorate it, make it into something that really speaks to you, and all of that. So just finishing up on the mint, our mint is this coming, depending on where you live, it's technically August the 20th at 10 p.m. UTC time. There will be a few different phases to the mint. The first phase is for our first 500 transactions of phase one. They were promised that they would have an early mint opportunity. So there's going to be a short window for them to mint, and then we go to our whitelist mint, which will be oversubscribed, and that is for all of our holders who have 1 to 3 estates. And then for our cloud partners. If anyone out there owns 4 estates, we are adding them to the early mint phase, just to really reward people that have gotten behind our project early on. And also, if you hold 10 or more, then you will get a free mint. So and that will be done as an airdrop. So yeah, it's really great. We're extremely excited about it. There's this mint, we haven't released the prices yet, but it's going to be a very reasonable cost. Effectively, the way that we've done it is, I'm just putting through, so getting some final quotes right now, but there's a few things from the early roadmap that we want to be able to fund through this mint, and effectively we're going for the lowest mint number that we can, that we feel like won't affect the floor. But will also allow us to be able to fund a few more things that we want to do in the early roadmap, like the marketplace and pushing forward with our internals. So all the furniture and the asset store and that kind of stuff, which is something that is people are very hyped for. So yeah, that's kind of it, really. We want to make sure that we are giving every opportunity for people who want to mint to be able to mint, and trying to keep it as fair as possible. And yeah, also take into account that people have invested. The floor price has been extremely turbulent, and so we want to make sure that we're not undercutting our own floor too heavily or anything like that. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that people who've maybe bought in for free, maybe not have the biggest wallets or the biggest bags, can still afford the mint as well. Because I think at this stage, this early on, we need to keep in mind, who our market is, who our clientele are, and also just be fair to our holders as much as possible.
Yeah, and I'm a big component of that. The projects that take care of their community succeed long term, right? And that's
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. And on my side, like, obviously I'm going to be following you guys for the longevity. Obviously going to be trying to get my hands on those whitelists as they come. But if not, I'm one of those people that if I enjoy a project, I will sweep your floor. I'll pick up one on secondary. That's it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well, that's
our community. We actually had I was kind of making the rounds in the community earlier this morning, and talking with a few people in Gen Chat and stuff. And there was probably 3 or 4 people in that time asking me about, when your guys' next stuff was happening, what was going on.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about you guys quite a bit. We have 6 or 7 really close collab partners that we just, try to support 100%. And you guys come up in conversation quite a bit. And we actually had one of our team members that said, hey, Kenny's like, what were the chances of getting a whitelist on this one? I said, listen, man, I said, they're doing what they need to do. It's a small collection. They're taking care of their people. So we'll see what we can do. If not, we're going to be there supporting them either way. But yeah, so there's quite a few people over at Alpha Mutants excited for your guys' next iteration here. So
that's awesome.
Support you 100%.
Yeah, I love it.
So do you want to do any screen sharing graphics? Maybe give us a little preview of what the those that haven't been in your Discord, to what the modernist is going to look like. Style.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
awesome.
I think we can do that. We might have to cut this bit together a little bit, because it'll take me a second to find some stuff.
That's fine. Well, while you're doing that, just when you're pulling that stuff up. So again, guys, I'm going to have all of the socials, the Discord link, etc. For the estates. I'll even link their OpenSea collection there. So you've heard it. I believe you stated if they have 4. They're going to be on the if the wallet owns 4, there's going to be a snapshot of some kind where they can have early access to the mint. Is that what you said? So there's a surefire way for you guys to get in on the mint, is to go and pick you up 4 of the off the floor there. That helps out the project, and that'll get you in that early access. So we'll have all that stuff picked up, posted below, and definitely go and support them, guys. Super solid team, and just an amazing project. And I can tell you with an amount of certainty, a very vast amount of certainty, that these guys are going to continue to build. And when the hype comes back to this space, they're definitely going to be one of the big players in the metaverse real estate, if not the biggest. I have full conviction of that. So
thank you. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I am ready to share my screen.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. So you guys can see this?
Oh, yes, there we go.
Sweet. So this is really cool. This is just something that we found this like awesome Italian architect called Massimiliano, and he's helped us put this onto Enscape and just give us like a web viewing of this. So I'm not the oh, I'm just gotta do this. I'm not the niftiest with my mouse, so let's go. Okay, cool. So one of the coolest things you can do straight away is that you can just go like this, and you can change the time of day. So this link is going to be available to the public. Oh, let's go to the evening because that looks awesome. So you can see, guys, like this is just literally just one of the estates in, oh, this is my other account, Savannah. Hello, everyone. She turned 7 yesterday. Happy birthday. Yeah, this is just one of our estates. All these assets that you see is what you'll be getting. So as you can see here, like this is just one of the kind of combinations. So this is a rendered concrete with the light sky. Well, is this sky blue? I'm not great.
Almost like an aqua maybe
okay.
of some kind. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a colors expert either, so.
Yeah. So there's like a little bike just leaning against the wall. And then once you go, so just to be clear, all the external assets are as they will be when you get the estates. But then we've just decided to put some internal assets to give you guys an idea of some of the stuff that we're currently looking to implement. So this is a little living room. We've got some nice NFTs on the wall. Yeah, so over here, and we've got a little Mori, a chibi, and then a Land of Valeria. Over here, this is actually a Croodle. That's my first ever DGen project and my only ever DGen project that I bought into
Nice.
way back when. And I'm telling you guys, that floor is going to come up any day now, I swear. And this is the biggest NFT purchase I've ever made, which is a project called Jira. Love that community as well, by the way. They've really gotten behind us, which has been just amazing. And yeah, so just looking over here, like this is just a little, so this theme, obviously we've gone for a natural setting. We are also going to be doing some slightly, yeah, quite different themes in terms of, so I'm trying to make this feel as realistic as possible, but I'm just, oh, there we go, up the stairway, how cool is that? And then this is into a study. We will also be releasing things like clubhouse settings and party settings and that kind of feel, and then actual realistic office settings so that you can like have meetings. Over here we have a couple more. So we've got long lost there, and let's go into the bedroom. So we've got the bedroom through here. Nice little living bathroom. So as you can see, like this is the kind of technology that we're dealing with now. This is today, and this is, we launched 8 days ago. So the technology is just going to get better and better and better. And yeah, people who want to have like that really realistic feel to their estate can do something like this. I swear these clothes aren't mine, but anyway, moving right back through. So, and this is probably one of the things. So this is one thing that I really, really love is we've given the Monist this really beautiful kind of communal vibe, and yeah. So this is just like a little demo. We can run through a little bit of the weather again. So it's.
Yeah, I think the weather feature is fantastic, especially like just the shadowing that you can see as you move throughout the day. I mean, I just think that's awesome. I was looking at that on the it's beautiful. It really is.
It's incredible, and like this, a lot of this is visible. So this exact very similar system that's available on the visualizer. So we can actually jump over to the visualizer here. So we'll just pick. That's a cool looking house. Let's have a look at this one. So you can see when that was just from our collection. When you actually select any of the estates, what happens is that it just loads up like this, and this is our visualizer right here. So this is loading it into the Unity engine because the files here are GLB. And depending on your internet connection, this can take a little while. I'm based in Australia, so I think this is about as slow as it ever is because we have potato internet down here.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that because so we have one of our founders based out of Australia, and for some reason, man, like every time he's going to do a screen share or something, it is just super slow. And I was like, man, you guys just need to upgrade that internet. They need to upgrade that internet down there for sure, like 100%. But
look, you're telling me, yeah. Look, I could go on all day about how bad the internet is down here. So once again, so we can change the weather, the time of day. So like maybe I want to shift a little bit. And the cool thing is like I love watching how the shadows operate. Right? So it's so cool. And you can see actually the gate, like kind of down here, you can actually see the reflection of the different bars of the how the shadows play off the bars of the gate. I just love it. I think it's so freaking cool. So yeah, it's really important. We're a 3D collection. These are designed to be integrated into metaverses and places like that. And so, of course, what better way to actually see what they look like than being able to play around with them in 3D? So you can zoom right in. I just love this detail on the lanterns. Like these lanterns, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and I just think that this visualizer came together so beautifully, and just is a really great representation that allows you to see some very, very intimate details of the property that you will be purchasing, and then living in. So also we understand that it's a big scale. Like this is a 16 by 16 meter block. We've got a full house on it. It's not always easy to see the finer details when you're looking at it from that orthographic, just rendered image. That's quite far back. So being able to actually really zoom in and see what's going on is super important. So what I'll do as well is I will unmute this site. Oh,
hang on a second. Then I think we might have knocked you out there. There we go. You might have to share your screen. It kicks after a certain period there.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I'm actually excited. I was talking to one of the other founders from our project the other day, and we were saying like, yeah, it, like we can't wait to get these things to do like I said, I can change out my backgrounds and be like doing meetings out of my digital real estate houses and things like that, and just fully integrating into the Web3 space. So it's a cool concept for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's it. Like that's the whole point here, is that these are actually meant to be used. And we definitely do see strong use cases as a digital office, as a meeting area, as a classroom as well. Realistically, that's another avenue that we're exploring actively, because one of the things about Web3 that is just on the near horizon is that it completely bridges the gap between first world, third world developing, in terms of being able to share education, and all you need is any kind of smart device. And even now in third world countries, we're seeing massive uptick of people who do have smart devices. I actually went to the biggest slum in the world called Dharavi. It's in Mumbai in India. And what they would do, these are some of the poorest people in the world, but the entire street would band together to buy one internet connection, and then they just all share the Wi-Fi. And so even in one of the poorest places in the world, they all had a smartphone. They all had access to this kind of stuff. And yeah, so we're working with charities and working with different activist groups. There we go. My headset just died. Yeah, different groups. So we've an incredible collaboration with Habitat for Humanity. So we've actually raised enough money to build 2.5 homes for them in Southeast Asia. So yeah, it's a really cool feeling that with a bunch of meta houses, we were able to actually raise enough money to build real houses as well, just all on top of what we've been doing. So that's been incredible. Yeah, there's another. Sorry, I've got another video that I'd love to show. So let's go to, yeah. So we've had some just like really cool stuff coming up from community members, and also from our different devs who've been working on it. So this actually came from the Crypto Kenny who did the visualizer. He put one of our estates into a neighborhood. This is all based in Unity. We'll also have FBX models that integrate with Unreal Engine, so that's just a reskinning. And just to give an idea of like, this is what it looks like from day one. It's pretty incredible. And this is not optimized for anything for any specific metaverse. So if there was a higher def metaverse, we can make it more high def. Yeah, everything like that, which is awesome. And then this is just one of my favorite things. It's super random, but just like really fun. And this is a little zombie game that we can play around with, and just to show like game developers out there who want high quality assets that integrate straight away into your games. You can use the estates models, they look fantastic. This is once again in the Unity engine. This is our little Terminator chick. She's awesome. We love her. And yeah, like it all works really well. So just to give you an idea.
Yeah, I think the just the options that you guys have, moving forward are just vast and interesting. And, I'm excited personally to see where you guys take this and, potentially do as much collaboration with you guys as we can in the future. I think that it's just going to be fantastic, and to see the development is going to be super fun. So, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
So we're coming up over a little right on an hour right now. We like to keep to that size. So
Awesome.
what we'll do here is, once again, guys, I'll reiterate, like and subscribe to always be notified for our weekly podcasts. We will either have a market update, a interview with the founder of a great project, or a instructional video on some utility tool in the space. So definitely check those out. You can also check out Nate, my co-founder and friend. He also has a utility channel that he has been posting instructional videos. Recently, he's been doing several videos on how to set up trading, leverage trading, and the best practices for that, and how to use different leverage trading sites and offerings. So if you haven't looked at that, and that's something that interests you, definitely check that out below. These links will all be below for you guys to do. But before we close down and everything, man, what final message would you like to just put out there to the community about what you guys have coming up for the second phase of your mint, what you have for the future? Just any final thoughts or words you'd like to leave the community with.
Yeah, absolutely. The final thought that I'd love to leave in everyone's mind is that this is only just the beginning for us. We've fully funded our project up till now, so all the technology that we've built and all that, it's all there, it's all ready to go. And the final thing that I'm most excited about is in the future, you might be seeing some really exciting and quite out there things coming from the estates, like potentially a medieval theme or a hyper futuristic theme. And also we have plans to do smaller collection drops for seasonal events, holidays, seasonal, like Christmas, or different events that people really like, and potentially is also just like a reskin as well, so that you could get like a Christmas lights thing on your modernist estate and that kind of stuff. Or for Chinese New Year, you'll get special red lit up lanterns and a flying dragon and that kind of stuff. So we have a lot still to deliver. This is a project where the goal was to provide you with great value on mint day, but then from that point on to just keep adding more value, and that's going to be coming out over the next weeks, months, and years. Things like the internal asset store, where you can deck out the insides of your estate any which way you like, with couches or different fanfare, like maybe like put your NFTs on the wall, like I did a little bit, all that kind of stuff. So we have a lot more to show, we have a lot more to develop, and we actually have a team that's able to deliver it. And I really hope everyone can see that every promise that we've made, we've kept up to this point, and we don't see any reason why that should change moving forward. And we know it's possible. We know that we can do it. We've done it now 4 times. We've got 4 themes that have all developed. So for us to be able to say, hey, we're going to do this in the future, I think now we can say that with a level of confidence, because we know exactly what goes into it. So and actually, sorry, just the very last thing as well is that we are in conversations with a few different communities and around doing them bespoke collections just for their communities. So that is also something, an avenue that we're actively exploring, and that could be really exciting, because there are a lot of projects out there who are trying to make a metaverse play and maybe don't have the technical skills or the finances to do an entire house collection on their own. Because, like, believe me, we know it's to do it the first time. It costs an incredible amount of money and took a really long amount of time. But now we're in a state where we have the technology built, and that allows us to also then approach other projects and say, for them to approach us, in fact, as well, and say like, hey, yeah, we can get you into the metaverse, quicker, cheaper, and to I think a higher degree of quality than if you did it yourself. And so that's something that we didn't really have on the agenda so much until we went through our first stage mint. And now that people are seeing it, they're like, holy crap, this is amazing. Yeah. So I think we're going to be seeing that a lot more as well in the future. And that's really exciting because, we have a very small collection. It's always going to be exclusive and things like that. And, that's a whole part of it, is that, we're always going to keep our collection small and keep it exclusive and try to really build that feeling of, this is your house, this is your space. There's nothing else like it. It's not exactly the same as your neighbors and all of that. So, we're just really excited for the future and excited for our mint this weekend as well.
Yeah. So definitely. So I'm excited for mint. Some of those little quote unquote maybe things we're getting into in the future. If I ever get the opportunity to buy a moon house or something, count me in on that. Right. So.
Yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to get with you after our mint and to work on a clubhouse for the Alpha Mutants. We're gonna put a shrine up to you. Put your face on like above the fire, something up in there.
Oh my God, that's too much.
Yeah, no, I was actually talking to Nate about it the other day. He's like, yeah, so we need just a snapshot and have it like right above, like on the mantle or something. Like, and I was like, that would be hilarious. I said we could send him a video and he would probably like laugh his ass off for that. But
oh my God, yeah. That's ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah. So very excited about what's going on in the future. Collaboration wise, the continued collections you guys are coming out with. So fantastic, guys. And so further down the line, I'm sure we'll have the Estates back on with us. We may even get you guys involved with maybe one of our NFT weekly updates, the market updates or something, because we don't have a panel of like different founders, but they'll definitely be a reoccurring thing on our channel. We'll keep updated as they continue to develop. But again, guys, so just check out the information, check out the collection, go pick up some of the collection, support the community. 100%. They have a great community in there, and I jump in there. I'm looking forward to getting done with Mint with Alpha Mutants. I can spend some more time in their community. But yeah, 100% follow, support. They're going to be a big player in the space, and we're going to have a lot of fun with them in the future. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Tune in next week for our next episode, and take the time to go back and look at some of the quality stuff we've dropped in the past. But until then, I'm Crypto Kenny. I'll see you next.